Hello, ladies and gents, how are you? Dirty Forex in the house. Let's go. Hello, everyone. I want to share with you some trades that I took today. I hope you had a wonderful day. And let's start this trade recap and breakdown. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, so basically I took all these three trades. I want to share with you the story built behind the PA. Why did I take these trades? And also why did I set further target for the first trade and then closest targets to the other trades. So if you follow my outlooks, this was how it looked. So basically on the daily, there's not much to talk about. And on the 4 hour, we barely tapped the equilibrium of the 4 hour, right? So once we barely tapped the equilibrium of the 4 hour, I was actually looking on lower time frames if there was interesting areas to continuing short before at least we tapped this demand over here, right? So yeah, what I did was I went to the 15-minute and what I was looking for was this. So basically we had liquidity all over, right? We had liquidity above and liquidity below. If price came to mitigate the demand first, I would look to long, yes? Why? Because I see intentions to come to higher prices and to really tap something significant, either the 4 hour point of interest and the 15 minutes, or even something further away or a supply above. Following expectational order flow, at the moment, supply has been in control, right? We actually didn't react off of something significant here, despite the equilibrium of the 4 hour. We've been mitigating supply after supply, and at the moment, I think supply is in control. So it is expectable if we reach a significant supply and lower time frames show me intentions to bearish, I will play a short to this demand. So that was exactly what I did. I'm going to hide this and I'm going to show you what happened. So first of all, what I need to see, if you all remember, I need to see a mitigation of an important point of interest. Is this an important point of interest? Well, yes, it is. It's equal or above 15 minutes, so I'm okay. Second, I need to see inducement building or liquidity being built after the POI was tapped or right before. What do we have here? Inducement, right? And if we really take attention, there's actually more inducement being swept here. What did I see here? Okay, so price swept the highs, price then swept the lows, and this is a change of character. This demand had a reaction, that is right here, then it came up. Yep, it's true. It didn't sweep liquidity, but it reacted and it failed. So let's see what happens next. So all this can be considered equal lows, or this can also be considered a trend line of liquidity that was swept here. Well, after this, what did it happen? There is a break of structure that actually broke this low, because this, if we're seeing swing structure, this was the lower low before the break of structure here, right? The confluences are aligning for me to play a short. And that's what I did. The question is, where to put my stop loss? Well, we need to think about this. This is a zone that is full of liquidity. We can't argue that's loads of liquidity here. Despite you can consider this a sweep of liquidity, despite you consider this also a sweep of liquidity, but it's true. PA has a bunch of liquidity here. So why would I put my stop loss here, like 5 pips? That's not doable for me. And if I see these highs failing and being swept, it would mean for me that price was going to mitigate the extreme. That's why I was also having a limit here covering the highs. That's why I had this limit set also. I put my stop loss tight and I was willing to take a loss here, and then price would come to mitigate the extreme and either tag me in and boom, down, or either failing and stop me out. The max and the worst it could happen to me is having two losses. It would mean -1%. And for me, that's okay and doable to lose in one day, no problem at all. Placed a short here and I see what price did. Ooh, price mitigated. After the price did this such impulsive move, there's another break of structure, right? So now the only thing we need to do is follow expectational order flow and follow mitigations and flips. Look what happened here. Price reacts to this demand and it fails. There is not a significant sweep of liquidity here. So when there is not something that tells me the price will play the decisional, I play the extreme. So what did I do? On this tiny, tiny, tiny candle, I placed another entry. Again, why would I put my stop loss higher? If this zone fails, for me, it's going to mitigate something because here we only have imbalance. By the way, where was my target on the first trade? Well, it's going to be the 15-minute demand. Price could break it and melt. Yes, it could. But this is 20R, or I even was careful and cautious enough to put it on the 5-7-30. Why would I risk taking a longer or further away take profit if this is 19R? It's more than enough. Then I set the limit there. What did it happen? Price tagged me in and it continues. Why did I put a 10R here? Well, first of all, I only entered on this trade because the first one was already risk-free. If the first one wasn't risk-free, I wouldn't enter on the second one. I only play continuations if the trade before is already risk-free. So if the first trade is risk-free, I'll play the second. If the second trade is risk-free, I'll play the third, and so on, so on, so on. So let's talk about the story built behind the last trade I took. Of course, you can think, oh, Tatiana, but price is reacting to the extreme and may reverse. Yes, it may. But look, at this time, I already had this one risk-free. And if you see, price came to mitigate this zone that I marked here, right? And look at what happened. Change of character again. And once this decisional also didn't sweep liquidity, I was willing to play the extreme again because the trades before are already risk-free. So that's what I did. And at this time, I was banking 5R. Why? Because this didn't hit the take profit. This didn't hit the take profit. So at this moment, I'm just break even. And if this is a loss, I will be -1R. So I wanted to make sure I would bank some money. And any case, I already, in my expectational order flow, I was expecting price to come to the demand. So 19R plus 10R plus 5R. Let me just delete all this, right? And let me now put this visible. So why would I need more? Yes, I could be greedy. And yes, instead of having 34R, I would have 19 plus 15 plus 11. Yeah, that's true. But again, the moment we are greedy are the moment that we may lose everything. So if this come all the way down to this demand and it failed after that, I would be okay and glad that I took this 5R, right? So that's what I did. I waited for price to come. Looking at this PA was like, oh, I'm going to get swept. But no, it didn't do it. You can think on a way that, oh, this is building loads of liquidity. I'm going to wait for the extreme. Yeah, you can say that. But look, all these trades, despite they were in very similar zones and creating a bunch of liquidity above, these zones are all related to each other. The first one was the one that is the confirmation entry that caused the flip. The second one is the one that caused the second boss and also the extreme that caused the flip below. And the third one is the reaction to that zone that caused the second break of structure with the confirmation of a chalk and also of demand failure. So it's all related and it's all aligned. It's following mitigations. This was actually a very good day. If it wasn't for you, don't rush the process. If you're not there yet, don't worry. I also struggled in the beginning a lot to understand all this. So I just hope that my videos and the way I explain can clarify something to you and bring some value to all of you. I can't thank enough the opportunity that was gave to me to help you. Helping people is one of the most gratifying things in the world. So yeah, I'm very, very glad that I can do this. And hello everyone, another amazing day. This week has been crazy. I'm going to share my trades of today and also one trade that I didn't take. As I said here, we could target some other area deeper or even this week low. But, well, I'm not greedy. I want to make some art and then I want to chill and enjoy the rest of the day. So this is all about freedom, isn't it? We're all seeking freedom. So the less time we spend at the charts and the more money we can make, the better, right? That's why I took my profits all here. And I'm very glad I did. Basically, if you took a look at my outlooks this morning, as usual, I'm going to show you. So on the daily, there's not much to add because after reacting to this supply, prices keep dropping either to now form a break of structure or to mitigate something above, either some supply above or even break the structure and then come to break the demand. 4 hour, we saw that price reacted to the equilibrium and then boom, came all the way down, tapped deeper. Just a second, let me increase this. It tapped deeper on the 4 hour demand. And so now price just can drop from here, depending on the zones that we see on lower time frames, or you can still come to mitigate something above before dropping and breaking structure. On the 15-minute, what do we have? Well, we have a very important zone that fell down after we tapped the equilibrium of the 4 hour lag. Then we reacted up and we came to mitigate this supply over here. And so if we're following mitigations and we're following supply chains, the most probable zone is going to be this to drop. So if this provides me lower time frame confluences, I'll take it. If not, I'll wait for a supply above. But what happened on the 1 minute? Well, on the 1 minute, we had the confluences we needed. So now I'm going to hide all these call outs. And now let's play PA so you may know what I was expecting. First tap of the 15-minute supply, right? I waited to see if there was going to be a chalk. So this is currently my high, right? If I was waiting for a chalk, this would be my low. So I would only trade if price came and do this. Boom, 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 boom. But as you see, price never broke this low. What do I do? Well, I delete this low because this is not the low anymore. I still have this high because it's the same. And now I have a new low. Which one is it? Well, it's this one, right? This I consider as a whole demand before the break of structure. So if we see carefully here, obviously this is on the 1 minute and we need to train our eyes to see this quickly, but we actually have a reaction to this demand and then a failure, right? So this for me is a flip. So if this is a flip, now we have two zones that we can enter, right? We can enter here, we can enter here. Normally, what I tend to do all the time, use the buy to sell candle before the break. So if we see, this is the zone I'm looking for. I didn't play this because, in my opinion, this is not clear to me. It didn't form a clear pullback so I could trade here. So in these cases, it's always safer to take the extremes. And that's what I did. So nose on for me here. This was the supply I had. And so this is where I placed my entry. Obviously, attention, I only placed this entry after this break. So I wouldn't be tagged in here because I only placed the entry after. Price did what? Price came to mitigate it, the entry. And see this. If I was waiting for this little candle here because I'm too greedy to take the whole buy to sell zone, look what would happen. I wouldn't be tagged in here. What happens next? There's a boss, right, of this low. Because if we see swing structure of the 1 minute, of course, price came down and it only broke here, right? So this, at the moment, is my swing low of the 1 minute, right? So if this is my swing low, I have a break of structure here that confirms that price broke it. And here we also have, this may be considered a demand. Look what happened to this demand. Price reacted to it. Now it actually did a good pullback, a significant pullback that formed the new zone to enter, and then it failed. So here we have a second flip. So this is my new supply. Why didn't I enter on this one? Because if you see the trades I'd taken, I didn't enter on this one. Why? Well, because in order for me to enter on the next mitigation, I need to have the one before at break even. I may miss some moves, yes. This is a risk management I do in order to lose less. Because imagine price reverses to mitigate deeper the supply or whatever, because we know that may happen. Instead of having only one loss here, I would have 2 losses already. If the previous trade is already break even, so the max that can happen to me is minus 1R instead of minus 2R, right? So the risk I take is always the same. This is my trade. What do? 1.5 pips and boom. By the way, what were my targets? Well, my targets was going to be this 15-minute demand over here that you'll see. This one was the one that caused all this bullish aggressive momentum up. So this is a significant demand. As you see, 10R. So 10R there. Here you have 11R. And let's see what price did next. Price mitigated this zone and start dropping. Ooh, price reacted to something here. What did it react to? It reacted to this candle, right? Let's see what price does next. Price could stop some of you if you didn't cover the highs. So it's always safer to cover the highs, right? The reality is with a 1.5 pip stop loss, it would have kept you in. This caused a flip, right? Look at this. Price reacted to this demand. It came to mitigate the supply further and boom. It failed. So what do we have now? Now we have a new zone to trade from. This whole buy to sell, right? You can place a trade here and leave it open, or you can wait to see what price is going to do. So what price did? Price then came to mitigate this demand over here, and then it caused the failure, right? So in this case, what did I do? I was seeing that maybe price is not coming to mitigate this zone because price may leave some unmitigated zones, right? So now what I have is I have this extreme that caused the failure. But this for me was a decisional. Why? Because look at this. We swept liquidity. This candle swept liquidity. So for me, this is a decisional entry. I was willing to take here an entry in order to make some more R's, especially because I was already risk-free from this one. Look, I always take parcels at 4, and look. So this one is already risk-free, so I could take another entry here, and that's what I did. I took another entry here. I removed this limit here, And I placed another entry here on the extreme because price can always come to mitigate the extreme, right? Normally I use until there is 2 pips of stop loss. Normally I use either 1, 1.5 or 2. But the average stop loss that I use it's mainly 2 pips, okay? But when I can leave a buffer with a 1.5 pips, well, then I use the 1.5 pips. So yeah, look what happened next. Ooh, got stopped out here, but I'm okay. It's part of the business. Like this decisional could take me down 5R, or it could just smack me in the face, as it did. So yeah, no worries. I took a loss here. I admit it. What happened next? Boom. It came to mitigate this limit and continue dropping. As if you see closely, the price came to mitigate this extreme over here, that price left unmitigated. I had a 1.5 pip stop loss and that managed to keep me in. But I'm not going to say that this was very, very accurate because I think in my opinion is that price came to mitigate this wick over here, right? That was an unmitigated extreme to then come all the way down. So I was happy that price kept me in. Either way, what I would have is 1 break even here and 2 losses here if this wouldn't work out. But for the risk reward that we're trying to get, this always compensates, right? And it makes total sense in the terms of following mitigations and high probability zones. Boom. It smashed my take profit. As you see, price continued dropping and yeah, you could have targeted something else, right? But the thing is, when we start being greedy, that's when mistakes start to happen. Because look, at 9 a.m. in London time, I'm done for the day at 9 a.m. So if I'm a full-time trader, I can do whatever I want for the rest of the day. If I stay here with my take profit further away, what will happen is I'm going to admit, if I have an open trade, I have the thing to check it all the time. So what do? I set take profits on significant zones because price could have also reversed here. Well, I would be with 2 break-evens and minus 1R instead of 20R. So I would be losing. It was quite easy to take this trade. It was quite clean. And that's what we should all seek for. Clean PA, because if there is a clean PA, it left you with no questions because it's so clear that you say, I gotta hit it. That's it, boys and girls. I hope you have a wonderful day and let's enjoy this week the max we can. Being grateful is, in my point of view, the shortest shortcut to be happy and to achieve our goals. Because we can't achieve something that we really want if we're not grateful already for all that we have. We can be ambitious and want everything and every day some more in order to evolve and grow, but we always need to be grateful for everything that we already have. So if you don't do it already, make sure you say thank you to the universe or to God, depending on what you believe, but you say thank you for all that you have, for breathing, for walking, for those simple things that are so simple, but yet bring us so much quality in life. This was the final nugget I had for you. Hope you enjoyed this video and have a wonderful day.